Zoe Weinberg. I am 21 years old, and I was adopted when I was 11 months old from Jiangxi province in the southern part of China. Um, well, a lot of Chinese heritage camp. Uh, I knew I was adopted all throughout growing up because I didn't look like my parents. My parents are both white. But I did know I was adopted because I went to Chinese school every single Sunday, and I wrote about this in a paper, how it was similar to people going to Sunday school, and it was very different for me because I was the only one that went to Chinese heritage school. And then I also knew I had a group that I was adopted with. They're called our group 49, and we had annual sister kind of Chinese sister gatherings, which was interesting. And also, I don't know, just it was very interesting. But looking back at it now, I didn't really know what adoption meant. I knew I was different. I knew I was adopted from China, but I didn't know what the weight and how that would carry throughout the rest of my life. Yeah. I would say I didn't really have a big challenge going into college because it was pretty normal. Both my parents went to college. I am very used to being around a lot of people that don't look like me because that's just where I came from. But I think the biggest challenge has been just recently of just understanding my positionality as being a Chinese American adoptee and not fitting into this the realm of Asian kind of Chinese people, but then also not really fitting in with white people too. I was actually talking to a friend yesterday about it and how I culturally fit in with white people, though I don't physically fit in with white people. But then Asian Chinese people, I look a lot like them, though I don't culturally fit in, so I don't relate socially. And I have this weird kind of position where I don't know where I fit in, though I feel very comfortable in a space that I am clearly not kind of similar to everyone else in the homogenous culture that I'm from. So I think that was the biggest, I guess, turning point for me in my identity is just that idea and realization of your body in a space, which was just wild, super wild. But I think initially addressing the question in the beginning of just not the transition into college was just knowing that people didn't know I was adopted and having people just assume that I come from a very Chinese culture, because I don't really know anything about Chinese culture. So that was really interesting because I grew up with everyone knowing that I was adopted, and it was kind of just a known thing. And in college, no one knew, and I had to tell them, or they came into my dorm and they're like, "Why are there all these white people on your wall?" Zoe, what is up with that? And I was these are my friends, these are my family. And I think that was something that I didn't realize at the time, but now looking back, I definitely realized that was a change.
Yeah.
You have a sixth sense, I guess, of just knowing when people are adopted. I think only other adoptee folks can empathize with that because you know. And it's hard to explain to people that are not adopted how you can tell when people are adopted. I used to have this very I don't know. I used to have this stereotype of what Chinese adopted children look like and what their parents look like. One of them being the parents are white and old, and the moms always wear clogs, and the Chinese daughters always play piano or violin, and it's very accurate. Or they're lactose intolerant, and it was just something that I had growing up, which was kind of an issue of just not addressing that. But I think meeting people, just recently we had an adoptee brunch, and that was very interesting for me because a lot of the things that I've experienced, other people have experienced as well. And I was actually similar to the thing that I just brought up is I was talking last night about how there's this new age and generation of where your parents didn't experience what you've experienced growing up simply because of this new multiracial family development. And I think we all, as a group of adoptee children, can empathize with the fact that our parents don't know what it's like to be growing up in a white family but being Asian. And I think it was just interesting to me because I don't relate to some extent to like the adoptee narrative, because I didn't realize how much disconnect a lot of folks have towards their adopted parents, because like I don't feel that way in any way. So that was just like kind of a shocking experience. But it was good to like sit in a space and like talk about experiences as well. I think the thing that changed is just like we're engaging in conversation, because like we didn't do that growing up. And I think that was like the biggest change. Though like growing up they like loved me a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Jay. Yeah, my parents' relationship and I are like super strong, but we don't talk about things sometimes. Okay. Even like now, we don't really talk about it. But we are, because I have like a better vocabulary and like just a better idea, and like I'm growing to learn about myself more, to be able to like verbalize it. Like obviously I got upset because it's like still a very new process for me to like understand, and like my like visceral emotions are still like very real. Wherever I like think about it, I like tear up and get upset. And I think that's like a very okay thing, because I don't think you need to just like cover your emotions, because letting the feels is like a very good thing. And I think it's a very natural process of just like understanding who you are and understanding just like the entire process. It's a hard question. I've never thought about that. I think just like, I don't know, you can't tell people to feel a certain way and like experience certain things, because I think that if I didn't go through the process and the learning experience and like the lack of knowledge that I did growing up, I wouldn't be the person I am today. But I think like something I would want to know is just like to understand that racism exists. Like it does not exist. Like racism exists in a very minute level of like microaggressions, and the things that you experience growing up, just the comments that people say simply because you look different, because you have like a weird Chinese name, or your parents don't look like you, is like an okay thing to feel hurt about, but then also to build resilience, to understand that like you're not alone. And it's weird also because you can't talk to your parents about that, because they've like never experienced what it feels like to have like those racial microaggressions towards you. So there's like this huge support system that you thought you had in like all these different realms is not there, because they just can't empathize with you. They can sympathize with you, but they can't empathize with you. So I think it's just like understanding that those things are real. They happen to everyone. Every person of color it happens to. So it's not something that just happens to you. And to just like be strong in who you are and like your body, and like take pride of like how beautiful you are, even if you don't see it in the media, because that's shitty. Like there are so many parts of me that I didn't like, and then still like working with today, because you have nothing else to compare yourself to that also looks like you, because you grow up in a white community with whiteness, and that's the norm. And I also think another thing is like to recognize that you're not a token. I was very tokenized growing up too, and like still am. I was always referred to as a Chinese friend, always asked if this was my sibling, because there was another Asian person in like the restaurant. And it's like, dude, no. There's a lot of Asian people in this world, and I'm definitely not related to them. So, yeah, I would say that. Take pride in yourself.